All right, Dave. So there's three questions that that I want to be answered. So the first, and I think a lot of people are having this question, is how do you go about finding these deals?
Yeah, that's a great question because, like I mentioned, the best deal for anything, it's not even just businesses. The best deal for anything is never going to be advertised. When a guy's in a pinch and he's got a Rolls Royce and it's $300,000 Rolls Royce, but he's got a $50,000 emergency, it's like, hey, I'm about to sell this car for $50,000. Doesn't need to put it on Craigslist and make a YouTube ad and send out on Facebook. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to reach out to maybe his trusted advisors or a couple of his friends. And so we want to be in those places for the businesses because the very best deals are when somebody does want to sell and want to sell quickly. Maybe it is that, they have that health scare that makes them realize, hey, I don't want to waste another day in this business. Or maybe there's something that they don't want to invest. Some of our amazing deals have been when somebody realized like, hey, like in order for me to grow this business, I need to kind of re-up. And as entrepreneurs, the person that spent those 10 years pouring in time, money, away from their kids, away from their family. And then it gets to a point, it's like, okay, if you want to go to the next level, you want to be able to keep up with competition or your competitor just did that. In order for you to do it, you got to double down on time and money. They realize, hey, I need to get out of this. And so we want to be in those places. And so I'll give you kind of the top three. Number one is just telling people what you do. The cool thing, one of the awesome aspects of what I talked about at the beginning of this recording was nobody else does this. And so when you tell somebody that you flip businesses or you tell somebody you're looking for businesses to buy, you take up a little bit of their psychic RAM that nobody else is in. And this is unlike real estate investors because as soon as there's no novelty to saying, oh, like I buy real estate and they're like, okay, I know my cousin does that. I know 50 people that do that. It's just like, okay, you're in there with all these people. Or, you're invested in the stock market and, just you go in with everybody else. When you say this, like you literally, and I have had it so many times where I mentioned that I buy businesses, 3 years ago, somebody reaches out to me on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, like, hey, I was talking to a friend of mine, Diane, and she said you mentioned a few years ago you bought businesses and I want to sell mine. So that's what ends up happening. And a couple other places, accountants would be another one that you build relationships, like let accountants know, because the first person that they go to typically is their accountant. And it is funny, accountants do a lot of these deals. I've had two of my businesses that my accountant sold for me. It's like, hey, I got somebody there in this tax situation. The accountant also knows a lot too. It's kind of scary. But he's like, hey, they're in this tax situation. We can do this structure. It's going to be great for you. It's going to be great for them, blah, blah, blah. But you want to let accountants in your area know, listen, I'm looking for a business to buy. If you have a client that may be getting close to retirement, I'd love to start talking to them earlier on rather than later on. And so we can make sure that it's a beneficial deal for both parties. That's the other thing. When I'm talking about deal structure, it's not just deal structure for you to try to take everything. I had a client that realized he just randomly on his Facebook, he had a friend, we had a friend in common. So he reached out to him randomly, a buddy of mine, just a guy that I knew in Chattanooga. It's like, hey, do you know this Chapman guy? I'm about to start working with him. Can you tell me anything about it? It's like, oh yeah, he bought a business from me. And it was a teeth whitening business I bought in Chattanooga years and years ago, just total happenstance. He was like, okay, this guy is legit, but he gave me good reviews. And that's somebody that I bought business from. And it's important that you create those win-win situations so that they're telling other people about you if those people want to sell a business or do deals. And then I'll give one third one I'll give actually two as the third one. So attorneys are also really good. They're in the middle of divorces. Divorce attorney, I've gotten amazing deals from divorces, man. The divorces will be a deal maker's dream. And bankers, because bankers, they get that person, they've gotten an equipment loan, they get into trouble, blah, blah, blah. You want to be their first call. So there are a ton of these that we go through, but those are, I slipped 4 instead of 3 in there.
Got you. No, I love it. I love it.